Sergeant Gutierrez and others were escorting an oversized load. Uh, Sergeant Gutierrez stopped at the exit ramp to block one of the exits so that they wouldn't strike the truck as it was traveling down the service road. He hopped off his motorcycle and was pausing traffic when a vehicle basically barreled down, went around his motorcycle, striking Sergeant Gutierrez directly. She did not stop to render aid. She continued traveling for at least another mile and a half, even as other deputies and others were following, pursuing, trying to get her to stop. She didn't. She eventually stopped, like I said, about a mile and a half down the road in a residential neighborhood. At that point is when she was detained. She exhibited signs of intoxication. So all those are factors that will be taken into account with the investigation. She has been charged now with 3 charges. And so that'll be dealt with. We appreciate the Harris County District Attorney's Office with Sean Tier being present and involved in the investigation. They do a phenomenal job investigating these cases as well, so we thank them for their role. And so again, our hearts are heavy right now as we lost a very good man. Everyone just loved him, thought the world of him, had a great sense of humor, family man. Everybody says that. Just loved his family, and just that comes up all the time. And everybody, whether it be the Harris County Institute of Forensic Sciences or the District Attorney's Office or his colleagues, everybody just said what a professional he was, what a joy he was to work with, had a great sense of humor. And so we're feeling his loss today, and we will. He'll never be forgotten.
Sheriff, the residential area, did she go home? Was it in front of her house?
I wasn't part of the arrest, so my understanding is that she eventually stopped prior to reaching a residence or anything. I don't think she made it inside a residence. I don't know if she lived in the area or what, why she went to that specific residential area. I was just told it was a residential area.
Can you tell us anything else about her?
She's 40 years of age. She's been charged with 3 charges. I don't know her background or anything like that, just 40 years old. And again, just sad that of what happened this morning. It's just horrific, and we just pray that she be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law.
Was this driver aware that she had hit somebody, that she had hit a law enforcement officer, just a person in general, or was she so intoxicated, possibly to the point where she had no idea what had happened?
Yeah, I don't have. I didn't have any interaction with her. I went straight to the family at the hospital. But it's my understanding the motorcycle was blocking the exit ramp, so it was, it was positioned there. She drove around that and struck him. So based on all the information I received, it was very clear that she had done that. Plus, she was being followed by lights and sirens and trying to affect the traffic stop, and she wouldn't stop. So there were plenty of different things happening for her to know that something had occurred, but she didn't stop initially.
Did she make any statement at all?
I haven't talked to her. I don't know about that.
Sir, I know the circumstances surrounding all of the deaths have been very different, but you mentioned heavy hearts. We know, because we've been covering it as well, how difficult this has got to be for families and for all of you.
Yeah.
What is the sentiment right now with all of these deaths that we've had?
It's just very difficult. It just really is. It's hard when you see family breaking down and they're heartbroken and their dreams are shattered, right before your eyes, and dreams unfulfilled. As I said, with her daughter set to be married here soon, we should be planning a wedding, not a funeral service. But team members crying, grown men, professionals that see this on a day in and day out basis that handle these type of crash investigations and things like that, but to have to be investigating the death of one of their own, is extremely difficult. And so with Corporal Galloway as well, the way he was ambushed so brutally, and we hope that there's a successful arrest and prosecution with that as well. So all of these weigh very heavy, and we lost Amanda Crowder here as well. She was very well liked. I was saying that we always say that, these individuals that pursue lives of public servants are such great people, but they truly are. I mean, they're great people that really just are human being like anyone else that have dream and aspirations and things like that. So it really hits home when we step away from the job sometime and we just see the impacts that they had in their community and in service and with their families. It just really leaves a large gap in our hearts, and that's what we always say, and it's a commitment we make that they'll never be forgotten.
Sheriff, there was other officers at the scene that pursued her and others that went to his aid. Who went to his aid? Was it his partner?
Yeah, others, partners that were there that were assisting with the escort went to his aid, and then obviously Life Flight arrived and were able to take him to the hospital.
I mean, how did that hit them? That's horrible.
It was horrible, and many of his colleagues had to go and work that scene investigation as well. But as the district attorney's office, Sean Tier told us, they were heartbroken, but they were marching through the investigation, being professionals and just trying to keep their composure as best they could under difficult circumstances. But there were many heavy hearts at the hospital, and everybody's just very heartbroken, and he was well liked by so many people. Everyone I've talked to that either worked with him when he started working at our old jail at 1301, as we refer to it, talked about, you know, what a great team member he was and his sense of humor, and just everybody just really talks so highly about him and how much, and his family is front and center in terms of what a family person he was. Everybody just said, if you looked at his social media post, everything was about his wife and his family and what a great marriage they had. Like I said, I think they were high school sweethearts, so they've been together for a long time. He was a young 45 years old and still had so many years to live. He had been promoted June of 2020. I was able to pin his badge there as he became a supervisor, and he continued to work in our vehicular crimes division.
Sergeant, the suspect in this case, was she drunk at the time?
She had signs of intoxication, so that still will be part of the investigation, but she has been charged with intoxication manslaughter as one of the charges, but she did exhibit signs, and that'll be part of the investigation in terms of establishing her level of intoxication and all that, but it was our understanding that she had been drinking.
And where do you think she was at before she got into the car?
That'll be part of the investigation as well. The district attorney's office has done a really good job, and I commend them for that, of looking at the source locations as well, so we could see exactly where she may have been consuming, and so that'll be part of the investigation. You know, our focus has really been on just comforting the family and our team members right now, but there's a different side of this, which will be the investigation, and that's just in the early stages right now.
Is there anything that the community can do right now for the family?
Nothing immediate. You know, we're just, you know, again, the words of comfort and support are very reassuring. You know, we always say that we're very fortunate to live in this community that's so supportive of their law enforcement. You know, we have different agencies here, and you know, everybody rallies around each other. You know, we've had losses at the Precinct 4 Constable's Office, now Precinct 5, our agency, HPD, throughout the years. And any time we lose, you know, one of our law enforcement officers, you know, first responders, it's always a big loss to all the community, so it's very difficult.
And Sheriff, the driver, where is she right now? I know she was being booked during the early morning hours. Is she officially in jail here, and will a mugshot of her be released anytime soon?
It's my understanding she's already been booked in our jail, and when we have one available, we'll make it available.
So far in 2022, I guess right now, it's just been 24 days, there's been 15 law enforcement deaths across the country. 2 of them have been in our area in 24 hours. I don't know if we're the leader, but what do you say about that as far as, you know, you should probably ranking as one of the top in the country?
Yeah, I mean, well, it's very troubling. It's very concerning. Again, I think on one hand, it's a constant reminder at the end of the day of how dangerous the job inherently is. You know, we understand that when we sign up, but still, you know, the families that are impacted, the families behind the badge, if you will, it's you know, they're at home, and you don't know if you're going to see your loved one again. And these circumstances are horrific and sad and difficult. And so that's one side of it. The other, especially with, you know, here where we had a possible drunk driver that struck, it's preventable. You know, it didn't have to happen. We constantly take to social media and TV and say, don't drink and drive. We lead the nation in the number of DWI arrests and serious crashes and fatalities. Stop it. You know, there's other options. Think about it. You put yourself and others at risk. We see the aftermath of that here today, and it's not something that's going to go away immediately. The scars will literally be there forever, and seared in the family's hearts when, you know, the father won't be there to walk his daughter down the aisle. You can't put a price on that. And on the other side as well, when you're talking about those that would ambush a law enforcement officer, to say that's unacceptable in our country, in our communities, you know, that we must, you know, make sure that we're respecting our law enforcement officers for the jobs that they do protecting our community, you know, and the violence against police has to stop, you know, and we've seen it far too often across here in our region, but across the country as well. We've got to make sure that we get past that, that we can make sure that we continue to work together with community, and that the community takes a stand against any violent actors that are out there harming our community. We've seen a lot of violence for a lot of different reasons, and it really has to stop. Our community deserves better, and we must do better, and we will do better.